Hi everyone, welcome to Extra Credit, and today we're going to be continuing our discussion of worldview that we started last time. On that subject, today's episode is brought to you by our flat planet Earth, helping you stay upright for 4 billion... Wait, it's not actually flat, like we're on a giant ball right now? Okay, so I've just been informed that we're actually on a giant ball hurtling through space right now at millions of miles an hour, so for those of you on the bottom part of it, episode the enjoy you hope I, credit extra to welcome. So the last time we were together, we talked about this idea of worldview. That means the unique way that you see the world around you, your thoughts, opinions, beliefs about life, the universe, and basically everything. This includes your beliefs about everything from God, the meaning of life, truth, right and wrong, to even more important debates like, is water actually wet, or does it just make things wet? But seriously, when we talk about beliefs, the question that instantly arises is where did these beliefs come from? And the answer, of course, is the same as everything else. Amazon. No, actually it's a bit more complex than that. Because our worldview doesn't just come from one place, it's something that grows in us over the course of a lifetime, sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously. Kind of like the influence of the ring, but hopefully less evil. So in no particular order, here are some of the factors that influence your worldview. The first one is family. Like it or not, the family that you grew up in actually plays a huge role in shaping how you see the world around you. Basically, whatever your parents or guardians teach you becomes normal to you, and you think that that's the right way to do things. This is why you think it's normal to do things like eat your vegetables, clean up after yourself, roll your eyes at cringy dad jokes. Just kidding, obviously, you guys never actually clean up after yourselves. But your family plays a really big part in shaping how you see the world. Another source of worldview comes from where you live. There's this fantastic quote that says, "It was the great north wind that made the Vikings." See, in the Middle Ages, the Vikings were known for how hardcore they were. They could fight battles, endure enormous hardship, travel incredible distances in terrible conditions, and they rocked the hipster beard before hipsters were even a thing. That's pretty impressive. But they didn't just become that way by chance. You see, they became hardcore because the place they were from was hardcore, a place of ice, wind, snow, and death. Kind of like April in Manitoba. A third factor that influences your worldview is culture. That means the way that people around you tend to think, act, and believe. You see, here in the Western world, which means like Western Europe and North America, we're pretty big on this idea of individualism. We all see ourselves as special little snowflakes who are totally unique, just like everyone else. But even though this is kind of a hard pill to swallow, the fact of the matter is that you're actually so much alike the people who come from your same culture. We tend to see, think, and feel the same way about the same things. For example, here in North America, we think it's normal for a family of 4 to live in a house that could fit 80 people, whereas in other parts of the world, they think it's normal to live with 4 or 5 generations underneath one roof. Actually, is 5 generations even possible? But anyways, just think about that. Living with grandma all the time? Imagine all the cookies! Finally, our worldview is shaped enormously by authority figures. An authority figure is just anyone or anything that has some kind of power in your life. Some authority figures include religion, science, teachers, the media, wizards. And now this one really bugs us here in the West because we like to think of ourselves as free thinkers. But whether you like it or not, you're actually way more influenced by authority figures than you think. For example, consider the fact that in 1938, Orson Welles produced a radio play based on H.G. Wells's classic science fiction novel called The War of the Worlds. Basically, what happened was there was this fake radio broadcast saying that aliens had actually landed in New York City and were terrorizing the place. Apparently, people heard this broadcast and were absolutely panicked by it. Now, we might think that's kind of cute and laugh at those gullible people from so long ago, but think about it. How many hoaxes do we fall for nowadays, especially in the online world with all kinds of fake news coming at us? See, when we hear something from a trusted authority figure, we tend to believe it. But really, we know that when aliens do invade, the first place down is always the White House. Now, here's one last thought for the day. Remember at the start how I made that joke about the Earth being flat? Well, it actually might surprise you to know that there are a whole bunch of people right now called the Flat Earth Movement, and they actually believe that the Earth that we're on is as flat as a pancake, surrounded by an Arctic ice wall that keeps all the water in. Now again, that might sound crazy, But think about it. Can you actually prove that the Earth that we're on right now is round? Well, you could talk about all the pictures or videos you've seen, but of course we know that Photoshop is a thing and special effects are a thing, and those could easily be faked. Yeah, but there are scientists and they have done all the math and done these experiments, they've all proved it and they already know the answer. Sure, but have you actually talked to any of those scientists yourself, or have you done that math yourself? Okay, yeah, but what about that test where you go down to the ocean and you take a telescope and you watch a ship sail away and you see the mast slowly sink over the horizon because of the curvature of the Earth? I mean, that proves it, right? Well, sure, it proves it, but have you actually done that yourself? See, the fact of the matter is that there is almost no evidence at all from our day-to-day experience that proves that the Earth is round. I mean, you might think it's crazy when the flat earthers talk about the Arctic ice wall that keeps all the oceans from spilling over, but think about how crazy you would sound to a person from the ancient world if you said, actually right now we're on this giant ball spinning through space at millions of miles an hour, held to the ground by an invisible force called gravity. They'd be like, yeah, gee, look at the time. Now, don't get me wrong, I totally buy into the fact that our good old planet Earth is as spherical as a palantir. But the point is this, if I'm really being honest with myself, I know that my belief is due much less to the fact that I'm smart, and much more to the fact that I've been heavily influenced by what authority figures and other people in my life have had to say about things. You see, I usually believe what I'm told to be true by those in authority over me, by my family, by people from my culture. All of these factors hugely shape the way that I personally have come to see the world. Well, and Gandalf too, of course. Hey everyone, thanks again for watching. It's always a great time making this show. I hope you're all enjoying it so far. Your challenge from last week was to see if you could find the longest word in the German language. Your challenge for this week is to see what kind of evidence you can find that the flat earthers use to support their view. Your next episode should be coming along in the near future, so stay tuned for that. Otherwise, take care of yourselves, have a great week, and we will see you next time.